What's going on, YouTube? Today I bring you my inside offensive lineman rankings for the 2021 NFL season. We did our tackle rankings last, and next on this series we're going to be doing our edge play or our inside defensive line players. But before that, we're going to have my favorite prospects for next year's draft so far tomorrow. So if you want to watch that, stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting off with our honorable mentions, we have Gabe Jackson, one of the more underrated guys in the league, I think. I think he has been a very solid guard for the Raiders, and I expect him to have a very good year, if not multiple years with the Seahawks. I think getting Dwayne Brown some help is finally a great idea, so I like Gabe Jackson a lot. He's here at number 13. Joe Thuney, a new Chief. Joe Thuney, he's a very solid guard, obviously, and most of the time would make this list, but I am kind of concerned. And, we've seen time and time again these great players in New England. They go off, they sign big contracts with other teams, and then they suck. So we'll see if that's the case with Joe Thuney. I have him here at number 12, technically, on the honorable mentions. I like Joe Thuney, but again, it's just, will he be the same outside of New England? And then Wyatt Teller, who just missed the list, but is still a very, very talented guard, obviously. Another great piece to that Browns offensive line. Still really like him, but he just misses the list because at number 10, in my opinion, is his teammate J.C. Tretter. I had to choose between Tretter and Teller, and at the end of the day, Tretter was just better. He played all 16 games, had a 77 PFF score, 1,000 snaps, only 4 penalties, and only 1 snap. He's a great center. He's one of the top 5, if not top 10 centers in the league. He's very solid at what he does. Great run blocker, gives Nick Chubb a lot of ability to just run it up the middle. And I like him. You can interchange Tretter with Teller, but I did just like JC better at the end of the day. Number 9 is going to be David DeCastro, and I want to put him higher, but God, he kind of sucked last year. 13 games, only a 64 PFF grade, 800 snaps, 2 penalties. Didn't allow a sack, though. Obviously, those are some good numbers. He didn't have a sack and, very low penalties, but when it just came to overall play, he just wasn't that typical dominant self. Obviously, he's still here at number 9. He's still one of the best guards in football, and he's still, one of the best linemen in football. But just last year was really, really down for him. Obviously, again, not letting up a sack was great, but as a run blocker especially, he was pretty bad. So 9 is still a great spot for him here, obviously. But I do have him here at number 9 just because, again, very, very down here for him. Number 8, we have Jason Kelce, who's, again, just kind of starting to have, had a bad year. It wasn't horrible. Started all 16 games, nearly a 70 PFF grade, 1,100 snaps, 10 penalties and 4 sacks, though. I mean, they're good. You can be much, much worse. He's the number 8 inside offensive lineman in the league. But that's kind of bad for typical Jason Kelce numbers. Normally he doesn't have that many penalties or sacks, unless I'm just wrong there. I don't think he ever typically has that kind of numbers and penalties and sacks allowed. Still a great guard or center, still a great center, arguably the best center in the league, but I just think, he's not quite like that top 5 player anymore, but he's still a very talented center, obviously. Number 7 is going to be Ali Marpet for the Buccaneers. Started 13 games, 87 PFF grade, 800 snaps, only 3 penalties, and no sacks allowed. See, these are good numbers because, while he didn't have a lot of sacks or penalties, similar to Castro, he was actually good just outside of the numbers. Was a dominant blocker, especially in the run game, but also a very solid pass blocker. Did not let up a lot of pressures at all, and that was the difference with David DeCastro. Was he let up a lot of pressures and just wasn't good overall. Ali Marpet was very solid, and another year like that, he can be higher on this list next year. Number 6 is going to be Rodney Hudson, who, in my opinion, is the best center in the NFL right now, but could very easily be taken over next year. And there actually is a center that is higher than him on this list, but I don't think they're better than him right now. I just think that they have, a brighter future, probably going to be better this year and stuff. But he started all 16 games for the Raiders, 74 PFF grade, 1,000 snaps, only 1 penalty and 1 sack. He was very solid, did a very good job on that Raiders offensive line. Now I kind of wonder, is he starting to regress a little bit? I don't really like that PFF grade as much as some other players, and that's ultimately why he's below this other guy here. But at the end of the day, still a great center. Again, probably still the best center in football right now, but can very easily be taken over next year. So, yeah, traded to the Cardinals. He could have a great resurgence here or there, so we'll see. Number 5 is going to be that center I was talking about, Corey Linsley. He started 13 games, but he had a 90 PFF grade. One of the best in football, one of the best in the offensive line. 734 snaps, not a single penalty, and only 1 sack. This guy was dominant last year. And that's ultimately why at the end of the day I had to put him over Hudson because, Hudson, again, it's a one-year wonder. We'll see if he can replicate it. If he can put up another year like this, I mean, god dang, he might be number 3 or 2. Yeah, Corey Linsley was a fantastic center last year, and we'll see what he does, but those are some great numbers. He was really freaking good last year, so great addition there for the Chargers. Hopefully he does the same thing again. Number 4 is going to be Brandon Sheriff from Washington. Played 13 games, 84 PFF grade, 850 snaps, 2 penalties, and 3 sacks. At first glance, he does not have the same numbers. But you also have to take a second and think, this man was holding that offensive line by himself. And most of the time, if you ever have one elite lineman on your offensive line, it's most of the time a tackle and most of the time a left tackle. This guy's a right guard and helped hold that line together at least somewhat decently. Now that you've added Charles Leno and, Sam Cosmi, the line is much improved, and Brandon Sheriff could enjoy one of the best lineman seasons in football this year. I really think he could, and he could be number 3 or 2 next year. Very, very talented, very dominant guard, great in the run game, but also just as good in the pass game. So he's our first 4-star guard, and that just tells you there's 4 4-star guys. Actually, no, there's 3 4-star guys. So number 3 is going to be Joel Bitonio. Joel Bitonio was, again, dominant. All 16 games, 85 PFF, 1,000 snaps, only 3 penalties, and only 1 snap. Like I've said with this Browns offensive line times and times again, it is super, super talented. Joel Bitonio is probably, besides one other guy, the best run blocking guard in the NFL. Very talented, very dominant, just out there, and he just pushes you. And yeah, so I think pretty easily coming here at number 3 is going to be Joel Bitonio. Just, again, very talented. Nothing I've not said before. He enjoyed a very good season, so we'll see what he does next season there for the Browns. Number 2. Now, don't get mad at me, but Zach Martin, he was good. He was very, very good. 10 games, had a 91 PFF, 600 snaps, only 1 penalty and 1 sack. He was very good. He was great in pass blocking. He's basically the only reason that Andy Dalton didn't die, and he still kind of got murdered a little bit. And that's part of why I can't put him at 1, because kind of like a guy like Brandon Sheriff, he's able to hold the line together really well by himself. Zach Martin kind of did that at times, but then also dealt with health issues himself. If he can stay healthy, he can try to retake that number 1 spot, but I just feel like it's got to be someone else, and you know who it is. But, Zach Martin's still obviously easily the second best guard in football. He's just, again, a dominant player, and he's very, very good. So coming here at number 2 is going to be Zach Martin. But number 1 is going to be Quentin Nelson. And yes, you see that right. I believe Quentin Nelson is a 5-star player. The numbers will not necessarily support that. He played all 16 games, but 86 PFF grade, we've seen guys with higher on this list. 1,000 snaps and 9 penalties, we've seen guys with lower. 1 sack, some guys had 0 sacks. Quentin Nelson is maybe the best guard I've ever watched play. And I don't care what the numbers say, I don't care what the stats say. He practically entered the league with a golden jacket on him. Quentin Nelson needs to play at just where he is right now, and he can go down as the best guard in history. He is an amazing run blocker. He's an amazing pass blocker. He's insanely athletic. Quentin Nelson is a fantastic guard, and if I can tell you that I think you're going to go down as the best in history, you better be number one on the list. The numbers might not support that, but Quentin Nelson is one of the five-star players in the league, in my opinion, and he's going to come in here at number one. But that is my inside offensive lineman rankings for the 2021 NFL season. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Comment me down your inside offensive line rankings below. Thank you guys so much. Wow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.